What up? T-Bob here.
And Jake as well.
And look at you. You done stumbled upon little OTB Saints, where we bring you all the latest black and gold coverage.
Who are the Saints going to draft? Who's going to be their quarterback? What does the salary cap look like? All that information and more.
Hope you enjoy it. Like, subscribe. So let's talk Saints-Chiefs, Monday Night Football, a game that now the Saints need more than ever. You lose this game, you are starting to fall behind your division rivals, and the Bucs and the Chiefs. Excuse me, the Bucs and the Falcons will be 3-2, whereas you'll be 2-3. If you win this game, well, then it's all completely different. Not only will you have beaten the undefeated Chiefs, so it'll give you a lot of confidence going forward and create a lot more belief amongst the fan base. But then you're 3-2, you're fine, you're right there with everybody else in the division. However, when I look, I believe that the Saints lose this game, and it's for a very simple reason. The Chiefs are great at winning games, and the Saints are not. And what I mean by that is a lot of times in the NFL, and this kind of goes back to something we were talking a bit about last night, but like in the NFL, these games are decided by razor-thin margins, right? And the margins could be so small that after the game, you can look at it and say, man, that was, just a bit unlucky. Like, if this had happened, then you win the game. This happened, you win the game. But if the margins are so small, why do some teams consistently end up on the positive side of the ledger while others end up on the negative, right? Like, the Chiefs are 4-0, but every single game has been incredibly close. They could be 0-4, whereas the Saints are 2-2. And as we've kind of been a theme through the postgame last week and through this week, have found a way to lose by razor-thin margins more consistently than not in the Dennis Allen era. So it's not as easy as just a bad break here or there. And so what I'm landing on is those razor-thin margins, which seem so small, are created by an accumulation of even tinier moments, right? And the good teams consistently stack those tiny moments, those tiny wins. And at the end of the day, they end up creating the win. Now, they get lost when measured against the big touchdown play or the big sack force fumble. But both teams have those. It's those small moments that ultimately decide whether or not you win or lose. And the Saints just make too many little mistakes. And the Kansas City Chiefs do not. The Chiefs push and push and push. And with a little help from the refs, they just find themselves consistently on the winning side. So I'm not even getting into matchups or injuries or anything else like that. You're going into Arrowhead. The Chiefs know how to win. You do not. I think the Chiefs win this game.
Yeah, I mean, it's pretty simple. They got 15 and you have 4.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, that's what they have. That's what you have. And they've been able to win every close game because he hasn't looked great. But when he needs to make the play, it's almost in absolutes. He makes the play. And so it's hard to go against them in that building. I played in that stadium 6 times. It's hard. Even when they're bad, it's hard. They're not bad. They haven't been bad in a long time. And so to expect someone to go on the road, big primetime matchup, and do the little things right to win it, I can't get the Saints there right now. The Saints have too many deficiencies on offense, even with a better system, and a system that is hiding a lot of things right now, which a system is supposed to, and that's what they're doing. Just the injuries and some of the deficiencies they have right now. Even the guys that are gritting it out. And like AK going out there with broken ribs and playing well. Like I just don't know that can be solidified enough in a Monday night game against the world champions to be able to go pull off an upset.
And if you do want to get into the actual matchup itself, when did you struggle the most offensively this year? When you went against Jalen Carter in that Chiefs front, an elite interior defender. And now you got Chris Jones lining up across from you. So the Chiefs defensively would seem well-suited to maybe exploiting what up to this point has looked like your biggest weakness. Because, again, the Falcons game, you have the pick 6 which is very bad on the offense. But on the whole, the offense was fine. It was really good, actually. I mean, 24 points, you'll take that in that situation. If you don't give up an offensive touchdown, you're supposed to win that game. Like the Saints right now, it's something crazy. Aren't they like, they might be like second in points scored and like fourth in like points allowed or something. Like but again, that was them last year. Remember, top 10 scoring offense, top 10 scoring defense. Why then are you not in the playoffs? Why are you not winning games? And it's because you don't win enough of the little moments. And that's what losing, when you hear the old saying, bad teams find a way to lose, like I feel like that's kind of the sentiment that we're getting at here. And that was kind of the sentiment in the Saints locker room. That's what Alvin Kamara was talking about. You want to blow people out? Great. I don't give a damn about a blowout. This is the NFL. I'm a vet. I've been here for a long time. This game is decided about what you do in the close ones. And the Chiefs have been masters, whereas the Saints have been not good. Not the worst, but not good. And so I would love to be surprised. I would love to be proven wrong. I just don't see I don't see it on paper. Or like Jake said, I can't give them the benefit of the doubt if you're asking me to objectively predict what I think is going to happen. Tay, do you want to, I know you're just bursting at the seams to talk about NFL. Do you want to weigh in here?
You know, during break, you guys were like, hey, Taylor, we're both going to pick the Saints, so you're going to have to pick the Chiefs.
Yeah.
You know, I hate that we're all three in agreement. You're in Arrowhead. It's Patrick Mahomes. And like you mentioned, like, if you watch the Chiefs, like, they probably should have lost to the Bengals. They probably should have lost to the Chargers, but they found ways to win those games. And I think they're going to do the same thing here. I think it's going to be close, though. I think the Saints are actually going to perform a lot better than people think. But I think Patrick Mahomes pulls this out.
I'm not saying it's not going to be close, right?
I think it is going to be close. It is going to be close.
It's just that the Chiefs will pull it out, is what it feels like. And at the end of the day, if I would just want to be a bit flippant and a bit disrespectful and a bit tongue-in-cheek, the refs will help them if they need to, you know? If we need a pass interference called or not called at the end of the game, the Zebras will be there for their Wonder Boy 15. So.
Well, you know, it's funny. It's the Patrick Mahomes effect, but then, like, I've also been told that, like, the NFL is actually out to get the Saints, so it's a double there. It's a double there.
I don't think the NFL's out.
They're not.
No. No, I mean, there really is something to that under Sean Payton. Roger Goodell does hate Sean Payton. That was known. I mean, did you see? I saw a clip from is it Mike Silver, Jake? Right?
Yes.
He's been covering the NFL forever. Yep. Very connected.
Yep.
And he was talking about Bountygate, where he's like, yeah, you know, Peyton had pissed off. What story did he tell? I've always heard about after the Super Bowl where he basically thumbed his nose at Goodell, and he told like another thumb-nosing story and basically said like, yeah, like that was over the top because so he wanted to check Sean Payton.
Yep.
Make an example of him. So I mean, that's not full conspiracy. Now, the Vinovich thing is not the NFL calling down and being like, keep the Saints out of the Super Bowl. That's just a human being screwing up in the biggest way possible in the biggest moment. And post Sean Payton, I don't think the NFL cares about the Saints, either positively or negatively. Now, I do think Pat Mahomes does exert a similar influence to a superstar basketball player, right? Where how many times have we seen clips of refs telling young guys, you're not getting that call?
Yeah.
And they're like, what, Kobe gets? He's like, yeah, that's Kobe.
Right.
What are you talking about? You know? And so I think there's some of that, and that's just human nature. So I'm not even really complaining about that. But I think that's why sometimes it feels like the Chiefs consistently seem to get the breaks. But also they're kind of creating the breaks, right? That's my overall point, because they win in all those small moments.
Well, you were just talking about like a basketball player. That's perfect. You see the clip all the time. It's Michael Jordan goes up to the ref. He goes, hey, he fouled me on that. And he goes, you think so? You think so? He goes, I promise. And then he blows the whistle and calls it. Remember? So it's the same thing.
You got to earn that. And if anybody has, Fitting has, for sure.
Now, like on the other side of it, as far as Jones and what he's probably going to do to the interior of the Saints offensive line, the Chiefs haven't been great anywhere else as far as getting after the quarterback. They're 24th or 25th in sacks this year defensively. So their edge rushers haven't really gotten home. If you're the Saints, it's like the old saying, like, you can't leave there and have 95 be the reason you lost. So you've got to come up with something to stop him. That's the one that scares you. You have to, and this sounds crazy, but you have to trust your tackles to go win their one-on-one matchups because they haven't gotten home a lot this year, and we know what Chris Jones can do. I mean, he can affect the game as much as anybody at that position in the NFL. So you have to find ways, and it's harder. And you know this, T. It's harder to stop interior pressure than it is, a really good edge, because with an edge, I can put a tight end, I can put a back, we can chip, we can help out. In the middle of the defense, it's a little bit more difficult. So now you got to come up with a game plan to slow him down. Sometimes that comes in the run game. Sometimes it comes with somebody coming across the formation on a wham block to slow him down.
So I was going to ask, do you think Chris Jones can blow up? Because I'm more worried about him. As much as the pass rush, I'm still more worried about him blowing up the run game like Jalen Carter did, where they were able to go big on the line, and they were able – because if the Saints can't run the ball, the offense is never going to do well this year. Like, they have to be able to run the ball or nothing is going to work.
You can slow down an interior guy in the run game better than you can as far as, a pass rusher, because
I guess what I'm getting at is, like, I feel like Jones is kind of more of like not a pass rush specialist. He's good at everything, but I feel like that's always where you feel his impact more. But maybe that's just because the NFL throws more. I don't know. I don't feel great. I don't feel great about Monday.
Because in the run game, you can do now the Saints' offensive philosophy, it might be a little bit more difficult, but, you can go down, and around where, you just crash him down and run around him.
Yeah, that's true.
It's play as old as time. And so I just would not let him beat me. He would not be the reason that I lost, because he's the one guy up front that can really mix it up.
I know, but the problem is a lot of people say that, and then he's that type of superstar where it don't matter what you want to do. Yeah. It matters how I'm feeling today. You got to hope that he doesn't have it. Maybe he doesn't have it today. Thank you, Matt C. It was the pill scandal. Remember the Vicodin and everything, Jake?
He had taken from the room or whatever.
A lot of pills are going missing, et cetera, et cetera. Bad look for the NFL. They didn't want to get it out. Then the Bountygate thing happens, and so it was kind of, I think, partially punishment for running a little fast. They were just kind of viewed, I think, as running a little fast and wild there for a little minute post Super Bowl. Which, how can you be? You just won a Super Bowl in New Orleans and you were young. Like they just flew a little too close to the sun for a little minute there. All right. So unfortunately, we're all in agreement. But hey, man, it's the NFL. Everybody's good. Go win the game. And the Chiefs got to lose eventually, right?
I need them to.
I mean, you have to lose a game eventually. You can't go undefeated. God. So
72 Dolphins did, but
here's to hoping that's today. Wow, just amazing black and gold takes right there, Jake.
I don't think I've ever heard any takes that are better than the two guys that just gave you that take.
And you can keep getting them by going ahead and liking, subscribing, ringing the bell to get notifications when we post. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next OTB Saints.